Going live.
Got it. Let me check. Okay.
Great. There we are.
Yeah, I got the notification. Book Club Live.
All right. Let me go in so I can monitor the chat.
Yeah, I'm also. Perfect.
Okay. Awesome.
Good. We're all set.
Yeah, we have people joining us. Hey guys, can you let us know?
Oh yeah.
Let us know how the volume is, if it's sort of equal.
Yeah, I can turn mine up or down if that's helpful.
Same here.
Hello, Paul, Will, or Grissom, Sweet Dream.
Okay. They've said the volume appears to be good.
Okay, great.
Let us know if it's not.
Yeah, let us know if one of us is louder than the other. It's good.
I have Cooper down here beside me today, but I think he'll be quiet. Yes, he's very sleepy though.
Okay.
He's very sleepy. My little book club boy. He does look like he's about to unplug my light. So if I get dark, that's why.
Okay.
It should be fine. Take a picture.
Yeah, my kitten was like sleeping for like the last hour. And I knew that as soon as book club started, she was going to wake up and become a menace to society, which she did.
Yeah, that's kind of how they are.
Yeah.
Okay. So this month we read The Haunting of Hill House. Very excited. Yeah. So there goes one of my lights, but you could still see me. I knew you were going to do that, but such a brat.
It's fine. You don't want to wake him up.
Yeah. He's awake now. He's pawing at it.
Okay.
Oh, and it came back. Okay.
Oh,
leave it.
He's fixed it for you.
Leave it. It'll go back out again. So I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
All right. So who else read the book? Anybody in the chat? I'm gonna put up a poll.
Yeah. I'm gonna vote in the poll.
Hill House.
Yes.
So the poll should be up.
Yeah.
I got at least one yes. That might be you, Eliza.
That might be me.
But if you didn't read it, it's actually kind of quick. It's one of the shorter ones we've read.
Yeah, it's not too long. I think I read it in a few days.
Yeah.
I'll see how long it says that it will take to read. Yeah, but what were your first impressions?
I liked it.
I really liked it, yeah.
And it's funny because I thought I would like it because I've read Shirley Jackson before and I like her. Yeah. I've read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which I recommend if you like Hill House. It's short as well. But I don't usually like Gothic literature.
Yeah. Me neither. And that was one thing that I noticed, that it is like very Gothic, like the theme and like the atmosphere that she creates, but in a really enjoyable way. I also don't usually like Gothic literature.
I think maybe it might be because maybe she wasn't super ostentatious about it. And
like the descriptions of everything were I honestly, I loved like the way that it was written. It
Yeah,
wasn't like super like flowery over the top language, but
totally
still
agree.
very like very vibrant imagery.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something I would have thought too. Like it was good and it was very descriptive. You could picture
Yeah.
everything, but it wasn't over the top.
No, it was still a page
So,
turner. Like I was still,
mhm.
the suspense carried it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, I guess things happen, but for a book in which kind of so little happened and over such a quick period of time,
Yeah.
it was a page turner, I felt like, and it did
Yeah.
have a lot of suspense.
Yeah, it did. Have many people read the book? What is the consensus?
Looks like maybe five people at least.
Okay,
So we
nice.
have some people that read it. Um, Kent says, I think it was not the Hollywood haunted house, which is a really good observation because it's not a Hollywood book at all. I
No.
mean, I think they definitely have made a movie of it and they made a show based a little bit on the story, but
Yeah.
I think if they made it exactly as it was in the book, people would be disappointed maybe.
Yeah, it's much more of a kind of psychological
Mhm.
book rather than like a pure, like scary book.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoyed about it.
I think the creepiest thing to me wasn't anything that was happening like in Hill House externally, but how Eleanor's thought process changed throughout it and how like she just
Yeah.
became a totally different person. It was kind of that
Yeah.
was creepy to me as opposed to
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
Mhm. Said I did read Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, that would be something very gothic, I would think.
Yeah, actually, I'm reading Frankenstein at the moment and I am enjoying
Ah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, which is still quite gothic, but
Mhm.
I'm enjoying it.
Have you seen the show? Not
Yeah.
Frankenstein, but Hill House.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, I loved it, but it was so different from the
Yeah,
book,
no. And
right?
actually,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was a book. Like I watched
Yeah.
the series
Hmm.
and then I didn't know that it was a book. And I don't know if it's just me or like because I was like, how is this book not like such a classic? Like it feels like it should be
It
such
is.
like a famous classic.
It is.
I'm just living in my own little like hole where I had never heard of it before. And then
That's
I
so
downloaded it
cute.
on the Kindle and I was like, oh, it says it's like a Penguin modern classic.
That's funny. But yeah, it's very different from the show because the show's just kind of based on the house itself, I guess, and not so much on the story.
Yeah.
But I really liked the show too.
Yeah, I really like the show actually. I thought the show was very well done and it was like that nice kind of mixture of psychological and scary. And also in both the show and the book, like the relationships between the people is also like very important. Like it's not just
Yeah.
pure scary. It's also about like this friendship. That was the dynamics of the French of like the people at Hill House was very interesting
It
to
was to
me.
me too. One thing I noticed and I wanted to ask you about was how do you feel about the portrayal of the women in
Yeah.
particular? Like there
Yeah.
was something I noticed about them, and I wondered if you felt the same way.
Did you also feel like it was super gay? Because
Yes.
I was like, am I just reading into this? But
No,
definitely, what's the other girl's name?
Theo,
Theo.
Theodora. I think
And
Theodora is definitely gay.
is she I must be because like the way that she talks about her roommate,
Theodora's
like
friend.
Theodore's friend, who they live
Yeah.
together and then they have like a jealous argument. And I was like, okay, that must be a girl. And the way that she gets kind of cagey when Eleanor asks her if she's married. And
Yes. Yep.
so I was like, okay,
And then also doesn't want Eleanor to come back with her, which I mean, that's normal because they just met anyway, but
yeah,
it would make even more sense if she didn't want Eleanor to know that about her. I don't
yeah.
know.
Or also that she's like, that Eleanor wouldn't fit into that,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And I don't know if Eleanor wanted some, like, I don't know if Eleanor liked Theo, like Eleanor does say a lot like about how beautiful Theo is and how like everything she does is amazing. But I don't know if that was actually just like a platonic way. And I don't know if the kind of jealousy that she felt was just a jealousy of their like friendship. Like
I felt
like
like,
Leo and Theo, Luke and Theo's friendship, and if she was just jealous about that rather than a romantic thing.
That's kind of what I thought. I kind of thought that she was at first it was like she really looked down on herself. Eleanor did, and everything Theo did was like, oh my God, this woman is perfect. I want to be just like this. And then it sort of morphed into this like jealousy over Luke.
Yeah.
And then she thought Theo was some sort of like evil, conniving person. As
Yeah,
the book progressed, it was
the way
so
she would
weird.
go back and forth between like really idolizing Theo and then like hating her and wanting to kill her and
Yeah.
that kind of and then like hating her and thinking she's evil and then wanting to live with her when they leave Hill House and
Mm-hmm. It was very strange. And I think too, maybe I'm reading into stuff that's in the show, and I won't talk too much about the show for people that haven't seen it, but the gay thing, first of all, because Theo in the show is gay. And then second of all, she
I
is.
can't remember
Yes,
this.
she
I
is.
can't remember.
Mm-hmm. And then second of,
Oh, do they have the same names in the show?
yes, Nell is the
Right.
youngest
That
sister.
they're right. Okay. But in the show, they're a family.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also Theo has like this sort of mind reading ability, or like fortune telling, not
Right.
fortune telling, but she has this ability where she'll touch something and she can like feel its past and kind of know things she shouldn't know.
Yeah.
And in the book, it felt that way sometimes, like she was almost reading Eleanor's thoughts.
Yeah. And we have that clue because the reason why she's invited there is because she did so well in that test.
Yes, that's right.
What's
Like
it called? With
I
like the different shapes, and you have to like guess what the
but
yeah,
she
but
guessed,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. But she gets like 19 out of 20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna really bother me that I can't remember what it's called. Psychic test. It has a name like I want to say like EMDR or ASMR. ESP.
Yeah.
ESP.
Okay.
Extrasensory
Yeah.
perception.
Yes.
Yeah. And we know that Eleanor has like had her history of like poltergeists raining on her house
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And I read a thing like just now before the call actually that said like, do you think that um Theo is actually experiencing the things that Eleanor's experiencing, or is she just reading Eleanor's mind and she thinks she's experiencing the same thing? Like,
Oh my God.
I know. And Eleanor is like attracting the poltergeist. So Eleanor is creating it. And then Theo is like reading her mind and is experiencing it too, like that.
Oh, oh my God.
Because it is true that the girls experience different things than the men did.
Yeah, that could be like it could be that God, I don't know. That's
The book
messing up
left a
my
lot,
brain.
it left a lot of things very, very open and very kind of unexplained, which
Mhm.
I was thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot since I stopped reading it.
That's so funny. Um,
Yeah,
another
or
thing.
actually, like, is maybe none of the haunting is real, and Eleanor is just completely like is just like descending into madness, and she's imagining these things, and Theo is reading her mind. So Theo also feels like there's a haunting, but it's
Mm.
actually just Eleanor's madness.
Yeah, because the men did experience the
The
pounding
men
on the
did
doors at
experience
least
the
at one
pounding on the
point.
doors, yeah. And they chased like the dog into the garden.
Mhm.
The dog. Oh my god, I can hear the cat scratching together.
It's okay. Poor thing.
I'm
Let me look at the
sorry.
chat here. Oh, you're fine.
I was saying sorry to the cat, but
oh, you should be sorry.
I know. She would just chew through all the wires.
Good comment. It was difficult to know what thoughts and emotions were Eleanor's and what came from the house. Because
yeah,
I agree. Because toward the end, it seemed like everything was coming from the house.
I felt like towards the end, everything was coming from Eleanor, and Eleanor was because there's like this one like scene where Eleanor is the one banging on the doors.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I said it differently than.
Oh right.
I thought that all of her thoughts were basically the house's
Oh right.
thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought toward the end that all of the supernatural stuff was coming from Eleanor with the, like you said, with the banging on the walls. That was a weird turning point for me.
Yeah. And then maybe she's been doing that all along. Oh no, she couldn't have been doing that all along because she was inside the room. But yeah, she becomes like at one with the house.
Yeah. That was, yeah. I was going to say something else. Crap. No, it's gone. No.
Question for Veda. If you could turn into a vampire to live forever, would you?
Conditions. That's a deep question.
It is.
Maybe. I have many conditions. I want to be able to go out in the sunlight. And do I have to drink human blood? I don't want to hurt people. So
maybe you could like drink from blood bags. Like you could get some donors.
Yeah, that might work. Yeah. Huh. Another thing I thought about the women was that and they just seem so childish through a lot of it. And even the men treated them like little girls. It was so strange to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that's like part of the time it was written in, or if that's the way the house wanted them to be, or what.
And that is the kind of like, especially like the three of them, like the doctor, like they said a lot that like the doctor, like, and his three kids, you know? And there is like that age difference, and like about them like playing in the garden, like go out and get some fresh air, children, like that. And and I think that both of the women, like especially Eleanor, had a very like she was always like looking after her mother, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe if she was acting childish, and maybe it was because she like felt safe that she could like regress to a childhood that she didn't really have.
Yeah, I think that's
Theo
a good
was just
point.
Theo was just Theo was a difficult one. I would have liked to have a bit more from Theo's perspective.
I agree. I think it would have been interesting to see more like, and then also to get the idea of, was she really antagonizing Eleanor at all, or was that all in Eleanor's head? Because I really wanted to know.
Yeah, there are like some bits where like there were actually like quite a few bits that I was like confused about what was happening in the book. Like a bit where Theo is like teasing Eleanor about Eleanor writing on the walls.
Yes, even when Eleanor was like super upset toward the end, and
everyone's like laughing at her, and like as if that they're all like in on some joke.
Yeah.
I think that the book did a really good job of making us question reality, like how Eleanor was questioning reality, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And especially as it moved on, and it would talk about, oh, Luke pacing the floor, he's talking to himself. No, he's playing chess. Like, so it's like, okay, what is real and what's not? Because Eleanor's wondering, like, what's real?
Yeah. And I was also thinking that about like the passage of time, like when the doctor's wife comes and they say that they've been there for a week.
I felt like
I think it was like
longer.
a week. Yeah, I felt like it had been like a
week.
month or more. Yeah. And so I guess also that the characters have lost track of time. And the book did a really good job of reflecting that for me also. I was like, no, it's only been a week.
Yeah. That was my reaction too.
Yeah. And Kent said I saw a lot of codependency. Definitely a lot of codependency between the characters, especially the women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some very interesting dynamics.
And then JH says it felt like they took on roles from the house past. And I thought that too, like the two
Oh,
little
yeah.
girls and maybe Eleanor and Theo are kind of acting the way they would have and stuff.
Yeah. That's very true.
Say the show and the book are totally different and absolutely watch it. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Even if you don't I don't like horror films or scary films in general.
And I
But
do,
it had
and I
enough,
thought it was
yeah.
good.
And I also thought it was good. It was I guess a good balance for
Yeah.
everyone.
I thought it was scary though. I'm surprised you
It
liked
was
it. Yeah.
scary, but it had like enough of a plot that I was like,
Yeah.
because usually I think that scary films are just like jump scary for no
Oh,
reason.
yeah, yeah.
And but I was actually like invested, you know.
Um, where are the ghosts as we know them in the traditional sense? That's great, Kent.
That's a very good point.
For something that's supposed to be like a haunting story,
Yeah.
there's a real lack of ghosts, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the whole presence is really the house. And I think that's even
Yeah.
creepier because it's like,
It's all around you.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
something we don't understand, right? Like a ghost, you can understand that, but just
Yeah.
a house is like an entity of itself. It's scary.
Yeah. And I think that with like specifically like, you know, when like the doctor's wife comes and she's like trying to communicate with the ghost and she's saying how like, you know, the ghost like wants something. And I feel like we're meant to laugh at her. Like
Oh,
she's
definitely.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that that's like, it's really telling us that she's wrong, that there aren't any ghosts who like have a goal, that the only like there aren't any ghosts who like want to find peace or anything like that. That's not what this story is about. The story
Right.
is about like an evil house.
Yeah. And I would say it definitely is evil. And I think it has like wants too, because from the beginning it like wanted Eleanor. It's very strange. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we think that so like about like the blood on the wall and like about it like asking for Eleanor? Is it says like give us Eleanor or something? Do we think that from the beginning Eleanor was doing that? Or do we think that at the beginning the house singled out Eleanor and then after that at the end then she wrote it herself? Because she definitely did write it herself at the end once, right?
I just finished it and I don't remember her writing it.
Oh, I thought that like in the
Maybe I
scene where
missed it.
I thought that in the scene where she pounds on the doors, then she also writes it.
Oh,
But I could
maybe
be wrong. I could be
all
wrong.
that happened really fast. I remember her
Yeah,
pounding
it
on the
did.
doors. Um, maybe somebody in the chat remembers because you
Yeah,
could
if
be
anyone
right.
remembers, that would be great. I finished it quite a while ago. Ganda finished this book today in time for book club. Well done.
You missed the start, but that's
It's
okay. You're
okay.
here. You made it.
We haven't said anything that important.
Mhm.
I mean, none of what we're saying is that important. We're just
No.
rambling about the book. So
Mhm.
thank you for joining.
Yes. I kind of thought she didn't write it at first.
She definitely didn't intentionally or like I don't know because she's such an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Then she could definitely have like lapses in her memory where like so the scene where she is like pounding on the doors, then I felt like that could definitely not be the first time that has happened, just that
I
the
felt
other
the
times it
same.
happened she didn't remember it or we didn't get told about it, you know.
Another thing I'm thinking, and this is kind of coming from the show, is in the way that they play with time, sort of, is that maybe everything that happens in Hill House, this is going to be hard to explain, but like everything that happens in Hill House can happen at any point in time. So
Right.
maybe it's sort of like a Shining type of deal where Eleanor's there. She's always been there, but it's
Yeah.
just,
And that makes a lot of sense about like Luke is talking to him, is like walking and talking to himself. Oh no, he's playing chess. Oh, he's outside. Like
yeah.
he is all of those things at once because it doesn't follow a linear time. And she says that like in the beginning, I think when she's in the car when she's driving there, then I think that she says like time is no longer linear from here on. Like I've lost all sense of linear time, you know.
I don't remember. Okay, good. I'm glad. And I'm also glad that you totally got what I was saying and phrased it better, because I'm like,
no, for sure. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I highlighted that bit, because I definitely remember reading it about like no, I didn't.
But in that way, like I think you're probably right that some part of her did write those messages, like the part of her that is the house. I don't know.
Yeah. And also, so something that I always thought about, which I thought was going to be a twist at the end, is that we know how there were like two daughters, like in the very beginning of the house. And there were two girls, and the house was saying from the beginning, like, help Eleanor. What was the house saying? Like, help Eleanor come home.
Yeah.
Help Eleanor come home, or something like that. And I was like, one of the little girls must be called Eleanor. Like, it must be.
Oh, that would have been a good twist too. Yeah.
In my head, I made it that way. But I decided that was what happened. But yeah.
So another thing, and maybe you understood this better than I did, but that weird book that Hugh Crane made for his daughter. Yeah. And they kept saying daughter singular, but he had two daughters. So that was the part
maybe
I didn't understand.
Maybe
the oldest daughter.
I never really thought about that. I guess that he made that when his first daughter was born.
That's what I thought.
So,
and it probably meant nothing, but I was just like, why would they think it's only for the one? Because I guess it did say daughter, so maybe it was when the first daughter was born. But that book was weird.
Yeah, that book was very weird, like about like the sins and piousness, but then also like cutting up like children's books.
Like illustrating himself, and it sounded like his illustration was very graphic. So
and definitely like I feel like he, like, in encouraging his daughter to be, oh no, my laptop's running low, I'm gonna have to plug it in somewhere. I'm so badly prepared, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I felt like he like inserted his own, like, he told us what his desires were in telling his daughter, like, don't do this, you know. It made it clear that he wanted to do that.
Yeah I think that's a good point.
I felt like that's why the house was so
that, and a man that is that strange to craft this creepy book. Like, imagine what he could do with a house that he created too. So
and like the thing about like the whole architecture of the house, like designing it like to be wrong and to be like you know, about like how like it not being like at a right angle and stuff like that.
Everything was ever so slightly off, like
that really creeped me out. I don't know why. I really didn't like
really
that.
really strange. And you probably haven't read House of Leaves because you don't like horror. Okay, but it was kind of,
it's a good one.
It's good. It's very long.
Okay.
And it's scary, but like the premise of that is that the house is bigger inside than it is outside. And that's the whole thing, is like this house is bigger inside than it should be. And it kind of made me think of that. I don't know. But
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go plug in my laptop.
Okay, let me
talk amongst yourselves for 5 minutes.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Gander says, I thought the girls would be called Eleanor and Theodora because the names of the sisters were never mentioned. Yeah, that's a good point, because it's interesting that they didn't ever say their names, and especially where Eliza was saying, like, bring Eleanor home. It could have easily been talking about one of the children too. Kent says, the house seems like a roach motel you can enter, but you never really leave, like Hotel California. I presume they were named by a big fan of the Roosevelts. Paul says, I thought I picked up on some similarities between Eleanor, Theodora, and the sisters who grew up in the house. Good relationship turns into distancing and some fighting later. Am I wrong about that? No, that's really, excuse me, it's a good observation, because it seemed like these sisters were so close probably when they were younger, and then they had some sort of divide. And that's what happened to Theodora and Eleanor. And then also, they really wanted to get back to the house, especially the oldest sister wanted to get back to the house. And I feel like that maybe is reflected in how Eleanor feels like she can't leave. Paul says, I didn't like the look of the house either, Eliza. I need clean lines and normal angles. Yeah. I thought it was funny how at one point they were all like looking out the window at where things should be and how they should have been able to see the big tower from their windows. But because of even just the slight little angles, it was all ended up way off. So even those minuscule differences made such a huge difference in the layout of the house overall. Kent says the House of Leaves connection was my thought about how the house changed. I can see the connection to the House of Leaves book. Yeah, so maybe it's ever so slightly inspired by this, just by the build of the house. But what did you guys think of it? Those of you that read it, what would you rate it out of 5? I'm always curious what people would rate the book. She's back.
I'm back.
She's back. I just
it was actually such a nightmare. I couldn't find my adapter.
Oh no, are you all good?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay. I asked the chat what they would rate the book, those of them that read it. And I will ask you the same.
Ooh, out loud or anonymously?
Oh, I asked them out loud, so maybe just comment, but
I rated it a 5 stars on Goodreads.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yes. I just thought the writing was really good.
I thought the writing was really good. Was it scary enough for you as someone who likes horror?
I really haven't found a book that's like super scary to me.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. And I think it was creepy.
It was creepy.
And that's what I asked of it.
Yeah.
And the writing was really good. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It was creepy. It was well written. I was kind of, I felt like it was like leading up. I felt like it was like building up to like a scary climax. And I was waiting for like my final really big scare. And I didn't get that.
Oh.
So it could have been a bit more scary.
I was waiting for Eleanor to kill herself.
Yeah. So I felt like that was happening.
Yeah. And I thought she would do it by hanging herself the way the young companion did in the tower.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, but that's another also like very gay thing, right? and the fact that she was living by herself with a female companion, and then she left her like all of her house to her female companion. They were lovers.
I think so. And I'm actually wondering, I'm looking up Shirley Jackson right now, because I wonder if Shirley Jackson was.
I do know that she didn't specifically, she wasn't gay, or she didn't say that she was. And she denied that she meant her books to be read in a gay way.
Apparently she had an exaggerated fear of lesbianism. Oh,
that also seems pretty gay.
Yeah. This is sad.
That's a shame.
In the late 50s, she was sent into a tailspin of depression when she discovered herself mentioned in a scholarly book about lesbian-themed writing. It seems like a denial a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Also, the lovers end in, the like phrase that they repeat, lovers' journeys end in lovers' meeting.
Yes.
That also is from 12th Night.
Oh,
which is
I
also
didn't know
a bit.
It was from.
Yeah, it's from Shakespeare. I'm pretty sure it's from 12th Night.
I should have looked it up because I was like, what is that from? Because she keeps quoting it.
Yeah, which is also kind of, plays with gender dynamics. Yeah, 12th Night.
Interesting. So, how did you feel when they started quoting that back to her? Do you think they were actually saying it because maybe she had been saying it out loud, or do you
I
think
thought
she was
that
making it up
when Theo repeated it back to her, I thought it was because Theo
and read her
read her
mind?
mind, even if just like subconsciously, and like it popped into Theo's head. And I did also think that maybe I actually, when I read it initially, then I thought that Eleanor was saying it out loud and Luke was repeating it back to her like that. But now that I'm
Yeah,
thinking about it, it could definitely just be
her
Eleanor's
imagining.
imagination.
I'm not sure, and I agree with you. I think Theo did say it, and I think it's because she kind of picked up on it or
Yeah.
read her mind. But I don't know if Luke said it.
No.
I'm not sure. But if he did, it's probably because she kept repeating it, muttering it under her breath,
Yeah.
unfortunately, or something.
Yeah. Another thing about the about like gender. This is like something that I read on Goodreads. It was like on one of the reviews or one of the questions. And you know, there's like one bit where the women are outside and they have like a scary like hallucination, and they're like hallucinating a picnic.
Yes.
And which isn't like necessarily a scary thing.
No, but when you see it and it's not there,
Yeah,
it's pretty
obviously.
terrifying.
But like
Yeah.
this theory was that like the scary thing was like conforming to like a picnic, and like a family, like the idea of like having a nuclear family was like part of the horror to Theo
Oh,
and
interesting.
Eleanor.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I feel like in that case, maybe it would be more scary to Theo.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Because
'Cause I
Eleanor
feel
did
like,
really crave a family. Like,
yeah, I think she did. I think she just wanted to belong so badly.
yeah, I think that that's why she was so susceptible to Hill House.
Agreed.
Also
Yeah.
because of like her past with the poltergeist things.
Yeah.
But mainly I think because she wanted to belong to something and
Yeah.
be a part of something. And she thought that she was going to get that with her like newfound family. And then
Yeah.
when Theo rejected her, then she like fully submitted to the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And the house picked up on that immediately about her, I think, and
Yeah.
was really testing all of them because even Luke got to the point where he's like, oh, it has a motherly embrace. It's like a mother. And Luke, who
Yeah.
never had a mother. So it was kind of trying to give them all
Yeah.
what they wanted to get them to stay, probably. But she was just the most susceptible.
Yeah, what about that bit where like Eleanor was like to Luke, tell me something that you've never told anyone else, and he told her that he didn't have a mother. And then a little bit later, then Theo said to Eleanor, like, oh, don't you know that Theo never
But
had a
Luke,
mother?
yeah,
That Luke never had a mother. Like now that I'm
it
thinking
was
about that
like,
now, it's like it could have definitely be that she read Eleanor's mind,
mhm.
and that's how she knew that. Or, you know,
There's so many weird
there are
nuances
so
to that
many
though.
things.
Because even if she did read Eleanor's mind and say that, like, why is
Why
she
would she say
that's
that? And
that's
she's like
so
trying to
catty.
brag. Yeah, she's really
Yeah.
like Theo was a very difficult character for me
Mhm.
to like and to understand.
I think it's impossible to understand her because we don't know how much we can trust Eleanor. Like,
Exactly. Eleanor's
so
such an unreliable person
so
to hear
there's
from.
there's multiple ways you can take it. Like, oh my gosh, she really did care about Eleanor, and all this bad stuff was either taken out of context or didn't happen at all, or she was this like antagonist, basically.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that it's somewhere in the middle,
I
but I don't
agree.
think that Theo was a really innocent person. I do think that
No,
Theo was a
she was a little bit of a troublemaker, kind of
yeah.
just a little bit of an antagonist, but not
Yeah. Not
evil
like
or,
evil.
yeah, it was. And I like that the part about, and then at dinner too, when she said, Luke, why don't you sing to me again? Like,
Yes, she really wanted to make Eleanor jealous.
yeah, and it was weird because I don't think she really had any interest in Luke.
No, but maybe she had an interest in Eleanor.
Hmm.
But also,
Yeah.
but actually, I don't think she did have an interest in Eleanor. I think she just like enjoyed winding her up a bit.
Yeah. She was just there for the drama, I guess.
Yeah. And from like at the very beginning, the very first interaction, then Eleanor and Luke had an interaction, and Theo acted jealous about that.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a payback, like, for that in a way.
Yeah, and it could be too that she just maybe Theo did kind of just want to be the center of attention a lot. I don't know, because that's what Eleanor thought, that Theo always had to be like the center of attention.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I do think to some extent.
So for
Also,
rating, oh, go ahead.
no, it's a different topic, but what about like the doctor's wife's friend, like Albert or Alfred or something?
Yeah, what was going Arthur, right? So
Arthur,
I don't know, but
Arthur, and Arthur and the doctor's wife. What was the doctor's name?
Montague.
Like, but Arthur and Mrs. Montague were like sharing a bedroom, and then Dr. Montague was just in the room like next door.
I don't think they were sharing. I think he was right next door to her. He wasn't in the nursery with her, as far as I know. But it was still, they were overly familiar. It was very strange. And
clearly Dr. Montague didn't like the fact that he was there.
No.
He was this random man who's just tagged along.
Mm-hmm. And they clearly have like this history because they've done planchette together. Like they have all these stories together. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just her bestie, but it was super weird.
It was weird. JH says that there were other lines from 12th Night throughout the book as well. That's interesting. I wonder what, like, I don't really know 12th Night very well.
I haven't.
But I wonder what that like significance is.
Kent said, did you see any stereotypes? I think other than maybe the women, just that whole delicate women, like strong men type of thing, but I don't think they even really did that so much. It was more of a joke, really.
Yeah, actually I thought it was and like about the women like both like saying to each other like, I'm gonna shriek at any moment, like,
yes,
I didn't think that it was too stereotyped, and I didn't think that the characters were like, I couldn't like pigeonhole any of the characters. I thought that all the characters actually were quite complex and developed.
Yeah, I agree. Like even Luke, who you kind of thought was going to be just this, like, I don't know, basically placeholder, like potential love interest. He just seemed like I don't know, there was more to him there. And then about his mother, how he never had a mother.
And Luke, like the future heir of the house, who's just like tagged along to this ghost hunting expedition.
It was so funny.
I thought of Luke as like, like a playboy bachelor kind of vibe, which
no, I think he definitely was.
He was, but not only that. He was also,
he was a good enough person. Yeah. I felt so bad at the end when he basically like had to tell Eleanor because she didn't want to leave, and everybody's like, no, you need to leave. And I think it was Luke finally that said, Madam, I disinvite you from my house or something like that. And it was just like, oh, that hurts. But it was for her own good.
It was for her own good, but like someone should have gone with her.
Oh my God, I know.
Dr. Montague insisting that she had to leave alone. I was like, we all know where this is ending.
Yeah, and I think like I get what he's saying, but it really seemed like just sort of a vehicle for her to be able to do that,
Yeah, and also she goes up to like, she threatens to kill herself like by hanging herself, and then she goes back down. And then Dr. Montague like, I'm so sorry, if I had any idea that this would have happened, I never would have invited you. If I had even like a tiny idea that I put you in this danger. It's like, of course Dr. Montague knew that something like this could happen, because other people in the house have killed themselves, and you're saying how the house is like haunted and how it like gives you its evil.
Yeah.
And we've all read haunted house books,
exactly.
so we know that someone's going to kill themselves.
Yeah, I think that was him a little bit trying to assuage his own guilt, because he knowingly put them at least a little bit of risk, you know?
Of course, yeah. He chose people who were susceptible to being haunted.
Got the juices flowing in the house, you know?
Yeah.
That was funny. Oh, I would never. Yeah. Well, you did,
yeah.
though.
Well, you did, and you did know. So it's a shame that, like, you know, his book wasn't even, no one even believed him. Like, he was like, oh, I'm going to prove that ghosts exist. And then.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was an abrupt ending, though, wasn't it? Like,
it was, yeah. It really was.
I'm glad, though. Like, I feel like it didn't need to drag on any further than that. It was just like a sentence about each of them and what they did afterwards. And then, bloop,
yeah.
done.
Yeah. And that's another thing about, like, so the book is, like, mainly narrated from Eleanor's perspective. But, like, at the beginning and at the end, then it's like an omniscient narrator who, like, knows all. And that also, like, relates to about Eleanor being the house and the house knowing everything, and the house, like them all, like, being a little bit part of the house. And so
creepy.
like,
but yeah, I think that's a really good point, like, with the changing of perspective, but maybe not so much really a changing of perspective.
Yeah, maybe not. And, like, when Eleanor was, like, running around, like, knocking on doors and stuff, and she was, like, using we and us to talk about herself.
Oh yeah, her and all parts of the house, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess her in the house.
And that was another thing that made me think about, like, the time and how just everything can happen at any time in Hill House. Like, it's all happening on different planes all at once, like the banging on the doors. Maybe all of the banging was always her from that one incident, you know?
Yeah. And it was, like, echoing, like, throughout.
Maybe.
So, like, the book wasn't as scary as I, like, hoped, as I thought it would be, but I did have to stop reading it because I, like, thought it was gonna because I was getting scared. I read it actually when I was, like, in a hotel by myself, and so I was, like, sleeping, like, by myself in a hotel
in an unfamiliar place.
In an unfamiliar place. I had to check that the door was locked, like, 100 times.
Oh, that's funny.
I had a balcony, and I was like, ghosts could climb in through the balcony. I was like, I'll be safe if I close the curtains.
Oh, I'm reading it here in my own haunted house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, though so we went on the ghost tour. A little side note here. We went on the ghost tour in our town. Oh, yeah. I wanted to hear the story of our house because it's on the ghost tour. It's the other half of our house. So our house was cut in half.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Is it?
So our part supposedly isn't haunted. So.
Oh, well, maybe you get some, like,
I feel like there's some residual effects, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Cooper's passed out right now. I need to show you. Yes.
Bless him.
He's a doll. He's so cute. Look at
his heart. Oh,
the baby. He's 70 pounds now. He's a big boy.
Oh my god, what a chonka.
Big boy.
Yeah, Kansas, was the book more about imprisonment than a haunted house?
Oh, that's a good point, because Eleanor kind of was always in prison too.
Yeah. And also, like in the house, like, you know, usually, like, a house is where you're safe.
Yeah.
But, like, it's the opposite in the Hill House. Like, inside the house is where you're in danger, and then, like, in the garden, then you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Although actually that's not true, because they weren't fine in the garden. They also had their, like, picnic hallucination.
Yeah, but I feel like that didn't happen right away. I think maybe as it gets more as you become more under its spell, it gets more powerful.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of how it felt to me. Like maybe it's most powerful sort of in the nursery where that cold spot is, and then stretches out as you become more susceptible to it. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think made the house evil in the first place? Like, do you think, because we do also know that like the first family who lived, like the very first family who lived there, nothing like that bad happened to them, right? And they didn't, or like they didn't hate the house.
No, I mean the oldest daughter came back. The Cranes were the first, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then and the daughter and the sister really wanted the house back.
I kind of always thought that it was from the beginning a little bit messed up. Like I don't think it was as normal as it seemed for them, because I feel like the reason she wanted it back so badly was because she felt like she needed to be there, sort of like Eleanor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I just thought that the reason she wanted it back was just because she felt snubbed by her sister, the lesbian. And I felt that probably the reason why the woman killed herself, more so than any like hauntings, was just her being like cast out of the town.
Yeah, and harassed and stuff.
Harassed.
I don't know what would have caused it. It really seemed like it was like the construction of it.
Yeah, it did. And Mr. Crane was clearly
eccentric.
Messed up.
Yeah, messed up. We'll say he was messed up.
Yeah.
So I think even in the building of it, it was wrong. I don't think it was like a single, I don't think it was an inciting incident so much as just like it was built wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think that's true. And then I think probably also like all of the bad things that happened in the house snowballed and made it worse and worse. You know, the house wasn't great to begin with, and then like then the wife died and she got added to it, and then the companion killed herself and she got added to it. Ooh, are all of the people who died in the house women? Or are all of the victims of the house women?
I think so, because Hugh Crane didn't die. Did he die there?
No, he died.
He went traveling.
He died in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all the victims are women, aren't they?
Interesting.
It's
because we're so hysterical. Hugh Crane poured his madness into the house.
Yeah, that's a good. What was wrong with Mrs. Dudley? Mrs. Dudley was funny. She was.
Oh, Mrs. Dudley. Mrs. Dudley like knew that the house was evil and she didn't want to be there for a second longer than she had to.
No, yeah. And I think that part of her way of protecting herself was keeping this exact routine. Yeah. So I think that might be why she was so intent on like, oh, I clear at 10, I set out lunch at 1, I set out dinner at 6, like,
and probably also like for her to keep a sense of time, because we know that the house like robs everyone out of a sense of time, so maybe that's really important.
Yeah, that's sanity. Good too,
because also we know that everyone else like lost track of the days and they were like, oh, is it Saturday? Like, you know, so maybe that's an important part of not like being a victim of Hill House.
Yeah, because I imagine if she kind of lost track of time, then she'd end up there overnight and probably never leave, you know?
Yeah, if she stayed there after dark, then that's it, you know? Yeah. Eleanor's situation broke my heart. She went from being a full-time caretaker for her mother to being treated like a child by her sister to ultimately getting told to leave Hill House. Yeah, it was so sad. And what was Eleanor's sister like? Eleanor's sister was horrible.
I know, like wouldn't even let her take the car
that she paid half of. And why wasn't Eleanor's sister like helping to take care of the mom?
I don't.
Do you think Eleanor killed her mom on purpose? Not killed her mom on purpose, but like ignored her on purpose, let her die on purpose?
I don't think even Eleanor is sure. I don't know, because I really don't know. I think that maybe she was just so tired and wasn't thinking, and she's just like, I can't, like, I think if she did, I don't think she was in her right mind, but I don't know if she did or not.
Also, I don't think she did, and I think that like it's her guilt manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, if she like ignored her mom, like maybe she ignored her mom one time. If that had been any other time, any other day, then her mom wouldn't have died, you know.
Right. It just happened to be really unlucky that because her mom probably was like way more demanding than she needed to be. Just like calling on her constantly and stuff. And then that one time. Yeah,
that was very sad. I felt very bad for Eleanor, and I felt like very sad that she got rejected from this like family that she had created, you know.
Right. Kent says, was Hill House sexist? Was the author reflecting some of her thoughts on life? It could be. I don't think the house itself was, but maybe something about it did go after women for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the I don't know, because Luke also like said that he felt like a mother, like you said, like Luke felt like a mothering embrace from the house. Maybe the house wants to like recruit more women to be more like motherly.
I feel like almost like the house it's working with the opportunities it has, I think. And maybe there weren't as many men there in the past. Like it seems like it was just Hugh Crane. And as the builder, he might have been a little bit more impervious to it. Whereas he had a wife and two daughters. So it had more of a feminine presence. So it might have been just more of a opportunity type of thing.
What do you think that it's like was the author reflecting some of her thoughts on life? Maybe her, like, it was written in the 1950s, right?
I think so, or 40s or 50s. I'm not sure.
Let me look it up. Do you think the author felt trapped in her life, and that's kind of reflected in Hill House?
It's possible. I think in the other book I've read by her too, there's like a theme of like the treatment of women. And she does do very strong female characters, and unique female characters. So there's something there.
Definitely. And like about
1959.
1959, okay. So and about like them, the girls like bringing trousers, like they brought slacks. And she was like almost embarrassed to like bring them, but like brought them just in case.
That was funny.
And them like painting their nails red.
And
then also daring. So I was thinking about the color red, because they paint their nails red, and then Theo wears Eleanor's red jumper even after Theo's clothes are like fixed. So there has to be something there. I don't know if it's just like the obvious like blood connotation, or like, you know, lust and passion.
I think red too maybe has sort of a vibrancy. So it might have been like these living things inside of this very dead thing. I don't know. Gander, I also read of hers. We Have Always Lived in the Castle. It's really good. It's short. It's shorter than this one even, but I definitely suggest it. And it's actually, there was a movie made of it, and the movie's pretty good too.
Ooh, do you think the house was already calling Eleanor before her mother died?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think even she was maybe thinking that, because maybe that would be why she let her mother. I think Theo even said, well, if your mother hadn't died, you wouldn't be here.
Ooh.
So the house maybe had something to do with that, even from afar. I don't know.
Ooh. Well, like if everything's happening,
Oh, she might have done it.
she might have done
Yeah.
it if she, like herself from the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff about color. Gander says, like, especially their yellow and their
Yeah, the
red
yellow.
outfits.
I felt like the yellow, like the yellow of Eleanor is more kind of like light and
Mm-hmm.
girly, not girly, but it's like more light. And then like the red of Theo is more like passionate, and like Theo can express her desires more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
then Theo's wearing Eleanor's red sweater. So what does it mean?
Yeah. Well, it was funny too, because they did sort of start to like mix a little bit toward the end in the middle. Um, like even Mrs. Montague was like, "Oh, I thought you
Yes.
were Eleanor." So
Oh, that's very
yeah.
true.
And then
That's very
Theo
true.
kind of mocking her again and being like, "Well, I'm Eleanor because I wear red and something."
Yeah.
She said something else too.
Yeah. Do you think that so like I think that like obviously things got stronger the longer they stayed at the house. Do
Mhm.
you think any amount of time would have made Theo or Luke or the doctor succumb to the house?
I think it's possible. Yeah. Um, I think maybe Luke would have been next.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, and then Theo. And
Yeah.
the doctor seemed the least affected because he didn't have those like extrasensory abilities. I
Yeah.
don't know. Though Luke didn't seem to either, but he really,
No.
I feel like the house kind of knew he had a deep need. So it was able to pinpoint that.
Yeah, and I think it's because Theo and the doctor have more to go back to,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
Whereas Eleanor really didn't have anyone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor, it didn't make a difference to Eleanor whether she killed herself or drove home, because where was she going to go? So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Eleanor was a very easy target. It's not very nice of the
I
house.
know. And even Luke, like he didn't have ties to anything. He could have gone
No.
anywhere because he has
Yeah.
opportunity and money, but he didn't
But he
really
didn't
have
have anywhere
any.
he needed to go. No one needed
Exactly.
him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why else would he go to this haunted house for the
Right.
summer otherwise?
It's like, yeah, I'll chill there for the summer,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's also true that they talk about going to the house for the summer, but it was only like what, a week, like 8 or 9 days, because I think it was a week before Mrs. Montague came, and then Mrs. Montague was only there for like what, 2 nights?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it must have been like 9, 10 days.
Yeah, I think if that, I think it had been a week and a half. She said
Yeah,
when Eleanor died, but yeah, they were planning on staying for 2 months,
for
I
the
think,
summer,
weren't they? Yeah.
something
So
like that.
imagine what it could have done in that time.
Yeah. Would you go if someone sent you a letter saying
I
you're invited
mean,
to my haunted house to be my assistant, my
if I
witness?
didn't have anything else that I needed to
Yeah.
do and like I was going to get paid for it and I didn't, yeah, I would. I would.
Really?
Yeah.
I
If I
wouldn't. I'm
could,
a big scaredy
oh,
cat.
I would be excited. Like if I could go with my husband and bring Cooper, I would totally go. Would you go, Koopy? Koopy the wig doesn't want
Yeah,
to
I think
go.
I would feel safer with Cooper there also.
Yes. It- Cooper is the biggest baby. He's afraid of everything. So cute. Are you afraid of everything and everyone? You're beautiful.
um Ganda said the room they were gathered in was described as being a feeling of purple or something like that. That is very true. That I remember that. Yeah, there were other things about the other rooms, and the thing like of the room that they were in without any walls, without any windows, and it was really like the heart of the house, and it has like the fire going, and I really imagined it like being like the heart of the house because it doesn't have any windows or anything either.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then all their rooms were colors as well. So
Yeah,
color
of
was
course, the blue room. And
Kent says if this house was sold, what would a realtor disclose? Probably as little as they legally could.
Yeah, right. Why didn't they sell it? Just because no one would buy it? Like, why didn't Luke's family sell it?
Probably. And also maybe like if you have that much money, maybe it's just like
I guess so.
Part of your heritage. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I was just looking at my notes, and yeah, just things about them being childish, like wanting to slide down the banister, saying that she giggled, playing hide and seek.
And even hearing child's voices and stuff too. Like she heard a couple of times like a little kid in the next room or something giggling.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think the house maybe thought of them as children almost, or
or they like regressed to being children, or they like took on like we said, they took on the roles of the children who lived in the house originally.
But I liked it. It was good.
I loved it.
I really give it a 5.
Yeah.
So for next month,
yes,
is No Exit good for you, or did you want to do a different one? Because I'm fine with either way.
Wait, is what?
I think we had talked about No Exit, but we don't have to do that one if you'd rather not.
No, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can decide now, and it gives people lots of time to get the book and stuff.
Yes. Now I'm trying to see who the author is.
No Exit. Is it Taylor Adams? Is it this one?
I think it is.
Yeah. On the way home to Utah to see her sick mother.
Yep. So next month we're thinking.
Ooh, it looks scary.
I know, that's why I was wondering, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good. I've read other books in between.
Okay. I think it's more of a thriller, so I don't think it's going to be too scary.
Okay.
Well, we'll see though.
We'll see.
So we're reading.
But I really like the suspense of this book. Like the pace, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
For a book which is so much description and which not a lot really happens. It was really like the pace was really. It was a page turner for sure.
I agree. I felt so bad at first because I was like, when I very first started, I was like, oh no, this is going to be slow, and I felt bad. So I was like, no, I'm making them read this, but it picked up. Yeah, it definitely picked up
for sure.
So this coming month, we're reading No Exit by Taylor Adams. And I'll make a post about this as well for people that aren't here or people that, if you forget what it is, but No Exit by Taylor Adams. And it seems to be a pretty popular one. And they just made a movie. I think it's on Hulu. So yeah, cool. That might be a fun one to read. And I have to read it because my husband keeps like really wanting to watch the movie. And I'm like, we can't, I have to read it first.
The book first.
Yeah. So he's mad at me. He's like, what are you reading right now? So you're reading No Exit? I'm like, no, that's next month. So it's a hot point in our house right now. So I need to
Good. Okay. We'll get it done. Don't worry.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I think he's going to leave me if I don't read it soon. So, yeah, I think that should be fun. Yeah. Does anybody have any final thoughts they want to add about this book or anything? I don't know, anything at all?
Closing comments, questions or comments?
Yes.
What is the book and author? We'll post it in the... Oh wait, Ganda says, sorry, this is about the thing. So Eleanor was in the blue room and Theo in the green room. Blue is sad, green is envy. It might be as simple as that. That's a very good point. Like,
yes,
that is a very good point. What was the other rooms? What
pink
was
and yellow? Luke was pink.
Luke was pink,
and then the doctor, I think, was yellow.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll think about it.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, if anybody I will be watching the movie. If you're up to watching the movie, maybe we could talk about the book and the movie during book club, but it's totally we'll see how that ends up.
We could have, I don't know if this is gonna be too difficult to organize. We could have like a Netflix party.
Yes, I think it's, let me see, because I can't remember if it's on Netflix or Hulu, but I know you can do a Netflix party. I don't know if you can do a Hulu party.
Maybe there's a different Chrome add-on you can get.
Yeah. Okay, it's on Hulu. That would be fun. I can look up and see if there would be a way for all of us to watch it together before book club. That'd be cool. All right.
Okay, great. That's we'll make a post about it anyway.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming, hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Another successful month.
Yeah. And thank you for choosing this book. How did we choose this book? Was it just like...
That was me.
Well done, Beta.
Well, actually, no, they actually did choose it, but I put it in the poll. So but I put it in the poll.
It was a team effort. It was a team effort.
So thank you guys for choosing it. I was going to take credit for that, but then I remembered, no, it wasn't me. I should have kept taking credit for it. Yeah. So it looks like the first Monday of next month is the first, yes, that day is the 3rd.
The 3rd of June.
Yes.
That should be a-okay. I think I'm leaving, it should be fine. I'm leaving Jordan on like the 5th, so it should be fine.
If it's not, then we'll change the date.
I think
we have plenty of time. So, but we know the book, and yay, yay! All right. So thank you again, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great month. We'll see you in our own respective videos. If you're not subscribed to Eliza yet, then you need to get on that. So,
thank you.
All right.
Give it up for Beta. Thank you.
I'm ending stream here. End. And then we're